Picture this: sirens wail, phones buzz with emergency alerts, and you have minutes to grab your gear and go. Your bug-out bag sits in the closet, packed with items you bought months ago. But here's the question that could mean the difference between life and death. Will your bag actually save you, or is it stuffed with expensive junk that'll weigh you down? Most people get this catastrophically wrong. They fall for tactical marketing gimmicks and shiny gadgets that look impressive but crumble when reality hits. The result? Bug-out bags filled with dead weight that slow you down and drain your energy when every second counts. Here's the brutal truth: when disaster strikes, your bag becomes your lifeline. Every ounce matters. Every item must prove its worth or get left behind. You can't afford to carry gear that looks good on Instagram but fails in the field. That's exactly why we're cutting through the marketing noise in Survivor Fantasy Gear. The 10 essentials on this list have been tested by real emergencies, not YouTube reviews. Each one earns its place through proven performance when stakes are highest. In item number 7, it's the one piece of gear most preppers completely ignore until they desperately need it and realize their mistake too late. 10. Paracord, the ultimate survival multi-tool. Your bug-out bag's rope section shouldn't look like a leftover from a garage sale. That thin, frayed cord you grabbed from the hardware store clearance bin, it's basically expensive string waiting to snap when you need it most. Real survivalists know that 550 paracord isn't just rope. It's survival currency that could save your life in dozens of ways. The 550 designation isn't marketing fluff. It's a military specification, meaning this cord can hold 550 pounds of weight before breaking. Compare that to cheap rope that might handle 50 pounds on a good day. When you're securing a tarp against 40-pound hefty winds or rappelling down a steep slope, that strength difference becomes life or death. But here's where paracord gets brilliant. Inside that outer sheath are 7 individual strands, each strong enough to serve multiple purposes. Pull them out and suddenly you have fishing lines, sewing thread, dental floss, or even tripwires for perimeter security. 150-foot length of paracord essentially gives you 8 different tools rolled into one compact package. Smart preppers don't just throw paracord in their bags like amateurs, they integrate it everywhere. Wrap it around your water bottle as a handle, weave it into a bracelet you wear daily. Use it to secure your knife sheath or replace your belt. This way, even if you lose your pack, you still have cordage on your body. Storage matters too. Don't coil it loosely like garden hose that creates tangles when seconds count. Instead, use the daisy chain method or wrap it in figure-8 loops secured with rubber bands. Your future self will thank you when you can deploy 100 feet of cord in under 30 seconds instead of fighting a knotted mess. The economic angle is brutal. A 100-foot roll currently costs $8.12, but paracord prices track oil costs since it's made from nylon. With petroleum prices climbing and supply chains still shaky, expect significant price increases. What costs $10 today might hit $20. Stock up now while it's affordable, because during actual emergencies, people will trade food for quality cordage. Consider this real scenario. You're bugging out during a hurricane. Your temporary shelter needs to withstand sustained winds. Your gear must stay secured to prevent loss, and you might need to help others or create rescue signals. Cheap rope fails on the first strong gust. Quality 550 cord holds everything together, literally keeping you alive through the storm. 9. Illumination, your lifeline after dark. Forget every movie where heroes stumble through pitch-black environments like they have built-in night vision. Human eyes don't magically adjust to complete darkness. That's Hollywood fiction that gets real people killed. When disaster strikes and the lights go out, proper illumination becomes your lifeline, not a luxury. Most people grab whatever flashlight is buried in their junk drawer, usually a cheap plastic model with corroded batteries from That's like bringing a butter knife to a gunfight. Professional-grade LED flashlights and headlamps aren't just brighter, they're built to survive conditions that would destroy consumer-grade junk. Water resistance alone separates real survival lights from toys. An IPX4 rating means your light survives heavy rain. IPX7 means it works after being dropped in a stream. When you're navigating flooded areas or caught in storms, this waterproofing isn't nice to have, it's essential. Your $5 drugstore flashlight dies the moment it gets wet, leaving you blind when visibility matters most. Headlamps deserve special attention because they free your hands for critical tasks. Try climbing over debris, setting up shelter, or treating injuries while holding a flashlight in your teeth. It's impossible. A quality headlamp lets you work efficiently with both hands while maintaining clear vision of your task area. Battery strategy separates professionals from amateurs. Lithium batteries outperform alkalines in extreme temperatures and have much longer shelf life. Store spare batteries in waterproof containers, never loose in your pack where they can corrode or short out against metal objects. Consider rechargeable options with solar panels or hand cranks as backup power sources. Light discipline matters in tactical situations. Sometimes you need illumination without advertising your location to threats. Red LED modes preserve night vision while providing enough light for map reading or close work. Strobe functions serve as emergency signals visible for miles. These features seem unnecessary until you desperately need them. The psychological impact of light during crises can't be overstated. Humans are hardwired to fear darkness. It triggers stress responses that impair decision-making. Having reliable illumination keeps panic at bay and maintains the mental clarity needed for survival. You think clearer, move more confidently, and make better choices when you can see your environment. Current market conditions favor early buy. LED technology has plateaued while raw material costs climb. Quality tactical flashlights that cost $30 today might hit $50 next year. Lithium batteries face similar pressure from supply chain disruptions and increased demand from electric vehicle manufacturers. Stock up now while prices remain reasonable. ADA Fire Starting Kit, your ancient survival technology. Fire represents the difference between survival and slow death in almost every emergency scenario. It provides warmth to prevent hypothermia, light for navigation and morale, heat for cooking and water purification, and smoke for signaling rescue teams. Despite being humanity's oldest survival technology, most people catastrophically underestimate fire's importance until they're shivering in the dark. The single lighter approach is amateur hour. Bike lighters fail in cold weather, run out of fuel at the worst moments, and break when dropped on rocks. Relying on one ignition source is like playing Russian roulette with your survival. Professional preppers follow the rule of three different fire starting methods that work in different conditions. Waterproof matches serve as your primary backup when lighters fail. Look for storm matches that burn even in high winds and rain. Store them in waterproof containers with striker strips, because wet matches are useless decoration. Quality storm matches cost more than regular matches but light reliably in conditions that would defeat cheaper alternatives. Ferro rods represent your last resort fire starter that never runs out. These metal rods create hot sparks when scraped with steel, working even when soaked or frozen. A quality ferro rod produces thousands of fires and weighs almost nothing. Practice using one before you need it. Striking sparks into tinder requires technique that's hard to master under stress. Tinder collection separates beginners from experts. Birch bark, fat wood, dry grass, and char cloth catch sparks easily and burn hot enough to ignite larger kindling. Carry commercial fire cubes or make your own using petroleum jelly and cotton ball. Having quality tinder means the difference between a spark and an actual fire when conditions are marginal. Weather considerations matter more than most people realize. Rain, snow, and wind create challenges that defeat unprepared fire starters. Learn to build fires in wet conditions using split wood that's dry inside, elevated platforms that keep fuel off wet ground, and windbreaks that protect flames from gusts. These skills aren't optional, they're survival requirement. Fire safety becomes critical during emergencies when rescue services might not respond. Clear vegetation from around fire sites, have water or dirt ready for extinguishing, and never leave fires unattended. A carelessly managed fire can destroy your shelter and equipment, turning a survival situation into a death sentence. The psychological benefits of fire extend beyond physical warmth. Humans evolved around fires. They calm anxiety and provide psychological comfort during trauma. Having a fire burning makes you feel human again when everything else has gone wrong. This mental boost often provides the morale needed to keep fighting for survival. Economic factors favor immediate preparation. Fire starting supplies remain relatively inexpensive, but costs are climbing across all outdoor gear categories. Quality ferro rods that cost $15 today might hit $25 next year. Storm matches face similar price pressure. Building your fire kit now costs far less than scrambling for supplies during shortages. 7 Navigation tools, your path to safety. GPS dependency has created a generation of people who can't find their way out of a paper bag without electronic assistance. When cell towers fail, satellites malfunction, or batteries die, that $800 smartphone becomes an expensive paperweight. Real survivors carry backup navigation tools that never need charging and work regardless of technology failure. Military-grade compasses represent proven navigation technology that saved lives for centuries. A quality baseplate compass with adjustable declination lets you navigate accurately regardless of your location. Unlike phone apps that drain batteries and fail in remote areas, compasses work reliably in any weather condition. Learn to use one properly. Your life might depend on this skill when modern technology fails. Topographic maps provide detailed terrain information that GPS devices can't map. These maps show elevation changes, water sources, vegetation patterns, and man-made structures with precision that helps you choose safe routes and avoid dangerous areas. Waterproof maps or maps stored in protective sleeves remain readable even in harsh weather conditions that would destroy paper maps. Map and compass combination creates redundant navigation systems that cross-check each other. If your compass seems wrong, verify with map feature. If your map appears incorrect, double-check with compass bearings. This redundancy prevents navigation errors that could lead you miles off course or into dangerous terrain. Pre-planning your bug-out routes makes navigation tools exponentially more effective. Study maps of your area during calm times, identifying multiple escape routes, water sources, shelter locations, and potential hazards. Mark these on your maps and practice following these routes using only compass and map. Familiarity with your area gives you huge advantages during actual emergencies. Weather resistance matters more than most people realize. Paper maps disintegrate in rain, cheap compasses fog up in humid conditions, and metal components can freeze in extreme cold. Invest in quality gear designed for harsh conditions. Waterproof map cases, sealed compass housings, and laminated maps survive conditions that destroy inferior equipment. Night navigation requires special considerations since visibility drops to nearly zero. Learn to use compass bearings in darkness, following precise headings even when you can't see landmarks. Practice this skill because stumbling around blindly at night leads to injuries, exhaustion, and getting hopelessly lost. The psychological aspect of navigation confidence can't be ignored. Knowing exactly where you are and how to reach safety provides enormous mental strength during crises. People who feel lost panic faster and make poor decisions. Confident navigation skills keep you calm and focused on reaching your destination safely. Current market conditions make navigation tools exceptional values. Quality compasses cost 15 to 30s and last decades with proper care. Topographic maps cost under $10 each and never become obsolete. Compare this to GPS units that cost hundreds, require regular updates, and become worthless when technology fails. Traditional navigation tools offer better value and superior reliability for emergency situations.
6. Water filtration and storage. Your 3-day survival deadline. Water isn't just important for survival, it's the absolute foundation of staying alive. Your body can endure approximately 3 weeks without food. But without water, you've got roughly 72 hours before organ failure begins shutting you down permanently. Yet most people treat water preparation like an afterthought, assuming they'll figure it out when disaster strikes. That assumption kills people. When you're stressed, dehydrated, and making poor decisions, contaminated water sources look tempting. One desperate gulp from a bacteria-laden puddle or chemical-contaminated stream can trigger dysentery so severe you'll lose more fluids than you can possibly replace. Within hours, you're trapped in a death spiral of dehydration and illness that no amount of gear can fix. Smart survivors understand that water security requires 2 distinct capabilities: storage capacity for immediate needs and purification systems for long-term sustainability. Your bug-out bag must address both requirements without turning into a 50-pound anchor that slows your escape. Modern water filtration technology has revolutionized portable survival system. Devices like the Sawyer Mini or Life Straw can process thousands of gallons while weighing less than 3 ounces. These aren't luxury items, they're life insurance policies that cost less than a dinner out. The filtration technology removed 99% of bacteria and parasites that cause waterborne diseases, turning questionable water sources into safe drinking supplies. But filtration represents only half the solution. You also need backup purification methods for situations where mechanical filters fail or clog. Water purification tablets, UV visualization pens, and boiling remain essential backup options. Each method addresses different contamination threats, creating layered protection against various water hazards you might encounter. Storage strategy separates amateurs from professionals. Those flimsy gallon jugs from grocery stores crack under pressure, leak when dropped, and develop algae growth that makes water undrinkable. Professional-grade water containers use food-grade materials designed to withstand abuse while preventing contamination. Water bricks, collapsible bladders, and stainless steel bottles offer reliable storage that won't fail when you need it most. Rotation schedules prevent stored water from becoming a health hazard. Even properly stored water can develop bacterial growth or chemical changes over time. Establish 6-month rotation cycles where you consume stored water and replace it with fresh supplies. This practice ensures your emergency reserves remain safe and palatable when needed. The economics of water preparation favor immediate action. Bottled water prices have increased 10% annually as petroleum costs drive up plastic manufacturing expenses. Quality filtration systems face similar pressure from supply chain disruptions and increased global demand. A $25 filter today might cost $45 next year, while water storage containers could double in price during the next crisis. Collapsible water storage deserves special attention because it multiplies your carrying capacity without adding significant weight. A lightweight bladder that folds down to the size of a book can hold 2 gallons when filled, dramatically extending your water security without compromising mobility. This gear proves invaluable when you discover reliable water sources but need to carry supplies to your next location. 5. First aid kit, your front line against silent killers. Infections kill more people in survival situations than dramatic injuries ever will. While preppers fantasize about treating gunshot wounds and bear attacks, the reality is far more mundane and deadly. A simple cut that becomes infected, a twisted ankle that prevents movement, or a fever that develops without proper medication. These everyday medical issues become fatal when you can't reach professional health care. Most commercial first aid kits are marketing gimmicks designed to look impressive while providing minimal actual utility. Those bright red bags with 100 pieces printed on the side typically contain mostly useless items like cheap bandages, tiny antiseptic wipes, and plastic whistles. When you're bleeding heavily or fighting infection, quantity means nothing if the quality can't handle real emergencies. Professional-grade trauma kits focus on stopping blood loss and preventing infection, the two primary killers in emergency scenario. A quality tourniquet can stop life-threatening bleeding from limb injuries within seconds. Hemostatic gauze helps blood clot faster in wounds that won't stop bleeding naturally. Israeli bandages provide pressure and compression for severe laceration. These aren't optional accessories, they're the difference between bleeding out and making it to safety. Infection control requires aggressive antimicrobial supplies that civilian kits often lack. Triple antibiotic ointment, antiseptic solutions, and prescription antibiotics, if legally available, prevent minor wounds from becoming life-threatening infections. Nitrile gloves protect both patient and caregiver from cross-contamination. Sterile gauze and medical tape create clean dressings that promote healing while preventing bacterial invasion. Pain management becomes critical when you must continue moving despite injury. Over-the-counter medications like ibuprofen reduce inflammation and provide pain relief that allows continued function. Prescription painkillers require medical consultation but can mean the difference between mobility and immobilization during extended emergency. Modular organization makes medical supplies accessible under stress.
Separate pouches for different injury types, trauma, wound care, medications, and tools allow quick access to needed supplies without dumping everything on the ground. Clear labeling and familiar organization prevent dangerous delays when seconds matter. Training matters more than equipment quality. The most expensive trauma kit becomes useless if you don't know how to use it properly. Take wilderness first aid courses, practice applying tourniquets and pressure bandages, and learn to recognize signs of serious medical condition. Your hands-on skills determine whether your medical supplies save lives or collect dust. Economic factors make immediate preparation essential. Medical supply costs have increased 15 to 20% annually as raw materials become more expensive and supply chains remain disrupted. Quality tourniquets that cost $30 today might reach $50 next year. During actual emergencies, medical supplies disappear first as hospitals and emergency services consume available inventory. Storage considerations extend beyond your primary bug-out bag. Keep basic trauma supplies in your vehicle, workplace, and home locations where injuries commonly occur. A severe laceration in your kitchen won't wait for you to retrieve supplies from your bedroom closet. Distributed medical capabilities ensure life-saving tools remain within reach regardless of where emergencies occur. 4. Shelter and warmth. Defending against nature's silent assassin, exposure kills more people in survival situations than violence, starvation, or dehydration combined. Hypothermia doesn't require Arctic conditions. It strikes when body temperature drops just a few degrees below normal, triggering organ failure that can kill within hours. Rain, wind, and temperatures as mild as 50 SHTF create deadly combinations that shut down human physiology faster than most people realize.
The misconception about shelter stems from Hollywood survival shows where protagonists build elaborate structures from natural materials. Real survival scenarios don't provide time, energy, or ideal conditions for construction projects. When you're exhausted, stressed, and working against time, you need shelter solutions that deploy quickly and work immediately. Modern emergency shelters offer incredible protection to weight ratios that make them essential bug-out bag components. Military-grade tarps provide waterproof coverage that prevents heat loss from rain and snow. Mylar emergency bivvies reflect body heat while blocking wind, creating warming chambers that can prevent hypothermia in sub-freezing conditions. These items weigh ounces but provide life-saving protection when properly deployed. Layer systems create versatile shelter options that adapt to different conditions. A basic tarp provides overhead protection from precipitation. Add a ground cloth to prevent heat loss through contact with cold earth. Include an emergency bivvy for personal warming, and suddenly you have a complete shelter system that handles most environmental threats without requiring construction skills or perfect condition. Quality sleeping bags represent long-term survival investments that maintain core body temperature during extended exposure. Temperature ratings indicate the lowest conditions where bags remain effective, but choose ratings 10 to 15 degrees below expected conditions to account for individual variations and equipment degradation. Down insulation offers superior warmth to weight ratios but loses effectiveness when wet. Synthetic fills maintain insulation properties even when soaked, making them better choices for wet climates. Proper storage prevents insulation damage that reduces effectiveness. Sleeping bags stored in compressed states lose loft permanently, creating cold spots that allow heat to escape. Store bags loosely at home, compressing them only during transport. This practice maintains insulation integrity and ensures maximum warming capability when needed. Deployment strategies matter as much as equipment quality. Practice setting up shelter systems in adverse conditions so you can work efficiently when stressed and tired. Identify anchor points for tarps and guy lines before darkness falls. Learn to create windbreaks and drainage systems that prevent water accumulation inside your shelter. These skills determine whether your gear provides protection or becomes a soggy mess that accelerates heat loss. The economics of shelter gear favor immediate preparation over delayed purchasing. Insulation materials face increasing costs as petroleum-based synthetic fills and natural down become more expensive. Supply chain disruptions have already increased prices 15 to 25% on quality outdoor gear, with further increases expected as manufacturing costs rise. Backup shelter options provide redundancy when primary systems fail or get lost. Emergency space blankets cost under $5 but can reflect enough body heat to prevent hypothermia in moderately cold conditions. Contractor-grade trash bags can create emergency bivvies or ground cloths when better options aren't available. These lightweight backups ensure you maintain some protection even if your primary shelter gets damaged or separated from your location. Site selection multiplies shelter effectiveness regardless of equipment quality. Avoid low areas where cold air settles and water collects. Seek natural windbreaks like rock formations or dense vegetation. Choose elevated positions with drainage that prevents flooding during storms. Your shelter location often matters more than the specific gear you're using, making site selection skills as important as equipment quality.
3. Water plus purification, your 72-hour survival clock. Water represents the non-negotiable foundation of human survival. While your body can endure weeks without food through stored fat reserves, dehydration begins shutting down vital organs within 72 hours. But here's the deadly catch most people miss. Having water isn't enough if that water destroys you from the inside out. Contaminated water sources harbor microscopic killers like Giardia, E. coli, and cholera that transform your survival scenario into a death sentence. These pathogens trigger violent illness that leaves you vomiting, experiencing severe diarrhea, and becoming dangerously dehydrated. Try defending yourself or covering ground when your body is collapsing from waterborne disease. You won't last long. The amateur approach involves stacking cases of bottled water like insurance policies. This strategy fails because plastic bottles leach chemicals after extended storage, crack under pressure, and create finite supplies that disappear faster than expected during actual emergencies. Worse yet, some people believe boiling questionable water in makeshift containers eliminates all threats. While boiling kills bacteria, it won't remove chemical contaminants, heavy metals, or certain parasites that resist heat treatment. Professional water security requires layered defense systems. Store clean water in food-grade containers, rotating supplies every few months to prevent staleness and bacterial growth.
Carry portable filtration devices like LifeStraw or Sawyer systems that transform questionable water sources into safe drinking supplies for minimal investment. Backup mechanical filters with purification tablets. Lightweight, inexpensive insurance that works when everything else fails. Storage discipline separates survivors from casualties. Water containers stored in extreme temperatures or unsealed purification tablets lose effectiveness over time. Proper storage in cool, dark locations with sealed containers maintains water quality and tablet potency when you need them most. The economics favor immediate preparation over delayed action. Current water costs remain minimal, but supply chain pressures and environmental regulations drive steady price increases on purification equipment and chemicals. 2. Self-defense plus protection. When neighbors become threats, when societal structures collapse, the greatest danger isn't wild animals or natural disasters. It's desperate people who've abandoned civilized behavior. That friendly neighbor who waves every morning transforms into someone willing to take your supplies by force when their family faces starvation. Your helpful coworker becomes a threat when resources disappear and survival instincts override social conditioning. This reality makes most people uncomfortable, but ignoring it proves fatal. Self-defense isn't about becoming a tactical warrior, it's about having tools and mindset to protect what keeps you alive. A quality knife serves multiple survival functions while providing personal protection. Pepper spray offers non-lethal stopping power that's legal in most jurisdictions and requires minimal training. Firearms provide ultimate protection when properly maintained and handled by trained individuals. The critical factor isn't the weapon itself, it's your mental preparedness to use it effectively. Panic buying firearms without proper training creates false confidence that crumbles under real pressure. The most dangerous person isn't necessarily the one carrying the biggest weapon, but rather the individual who's already decided they'll do whatever necessary to protect their family and supplies. Training matters more than equipment quality.